then in that case, you will get outputs which are not correct intermittently. That much is clear. We just looked at the example of a NAND gate. We don't even go into a complex gate like an adder or something like that. Even in a simple NAND gate, do you realize that if one input comes much later than the other, there will be a differential, there will be a spurious output there for some time?
So why I'm calling that spurious, because whatever it will come, I will get the according functionality. I mean,
Yeah, because now I will say that I wanted the addition of two words to be done.
okay, yes, sir.
So anything that is intermediate is spurious for me, na? What is it that I want? I want there is one correct output and then there is directly a next correct output. Any intermediate states are spurious states for me.
Okay, right. Okay, yes. Okay,
That is what I mean by spurious.
okay. I'm only concerned with some kind of outputs, not all. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so one
That
more
is
thing,
why
sir.
we call that.
Yes, so
Sorry.
one thing also, sir, the concept of token, exactly what exactly you were trying to say. Is it the value that is the whole being held, or the data that might be coming in, going out? What
No,
exactly?
token could be okay. Token could be something which is like when the state of the signal is 0, only then I will proceed forward. It is like you've seen a relay race
Yes, sir.
in which what happens? The first runner carries a baton with him and puts it onto the gives it on to the second runner after some time.
Yes, yes, sir.
है ना? So this is like a token that only after my previous set of results are there, only then I will start my second operation. So in asynchronous circuit, you call it as tokens. In synchronous circuits, you call of it as state. Where flip-flop, where the clock would come and say, okay, now let's move to the next stage. In asynchronous circuits, you call it as token. Okay.
So somehow it's linked to the inputs and output. Like when I achieve this kind of output, I can move to the next set of inputs, something like that.
Yes. So there is one. Okay. Now let us look at it like this. There could be a special output that your circuit would give, which says that, okay, now I'm ready for the next input.
Okay.
When all the calculations have been completed, it says now I'm ready for the next input. Now, once this ready signal goes high, then you will give the next set of input. So this ready signal is a token now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So like it's like the concept of moving from one computation to the next, that kind of. Okay.
Yeah.
It is
Something
managing
like
that. Okay.
Yes. So it is about sequencing. That was what you were talking about in the last slide also.
Yes.
You're talking about sequencing, where we said that in an optical fiber, we said that things would move in a wave format. है ना? Whereas
Yes.
it may not happen so in the hardware that we are talking about.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So when that is what we are talking about, then we say that this is about sequencing delays. Does this help?
So, sir, we are moving towards sequencing because we want to avoid those kind of spurious kind of that
Yes.
transitions.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Abhinav, we can relate token to something like a acknowledgement signal. Gagandeep?
Yes, sir. Sir, what I know about the pipelines, so what according to what we have read also, basically to make the overall circuit faster, what we do is to separate two blocks of circuit and put flip-flops in between so that the output of previous one is not able to interact with the input of the next stage until I send the clock signal. So, sir, even if the delays of all the transitions of input for both the circuit, the stage one and stage two, are similar or let's say are constant, even then to make the circuit faster, I will like to put flip-flops or not.
Even then I would want to do that. Yes. Even then I would want to do that.
Yes. So, sir, how are we saying that, okay, if constant, if it is constant, then I can remove the flip-flops.
If it is constant, I will remove the flip-flops, because even after removing the flip-flops, I will get the correct functionality. The speed may be slower.
Okay, so for speed, I will still need to put them, and
Yes.
functionality
Speed you
is
will still, so then you are using flip-flops only for speed purposes. Otherwise, you're using pipelining also for sequencing purposes.
okay. Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So what we are saying is that there are two purposes of using these sequencing circuits. First is to ensure sequencing. Second is to improve overall system throughput. System throughput need would still remain. But in wave pipelining, you can say that, okay, I do not need to give this keep these flip-flops or sequencing elements in between, because I am always safe.
Sir,
Yes, Raghav?
sir, I'm improving the speed of the circuit because I'm able to achieve kind of parallelism kind of thing. That is why I'm able to
Yes.
achieve it.
Yes.
Right. Okay, sir.
Yes. So are all of you doing the computer architecture course? Anyone who's not doing the CA course? Okay, at least those who are present in the class. Okay, Gagandeep is not. Oh. Some people are not doing CA course. So those of you who are doing CA course, you would see that CMA, this concept is discussed in much detail. Why pipelining is used, why it is important, and so on. So pipelining is used for two purposes, as we are discussing over here. First is to ensure sequencing, that the earlier inputs don't mix with the present set of inputs, or vice versa. And we are also saying that sequential elements or pipelining is used to improve overall throughput of the system. Okay? Now, when we use these sequencing elements in our paths, what do? We inevitably add flip-flops and latches, and they will inevitably lead to additional delays even on the slower paths. See, there was a slow path. You wanted to slow down only the fast path, but you do not know which path is slow, which path is fast when you are doing a system synthesis. In that case, what happens? In that case, finally, we say that we simply insert a flop on all the paths, and even the slow paths will see some delay. This additional delay that this flip-flop would take, or this latch would take, is called as clocking overhead or sequencing overhead. So actually it is called as sequencing overhead, but a few people erroneously call it as clocking overhead. Clocking overhead is not the correct term, because as I just mentioned a little while back, this kind of overhead even occurs in the token system. If you have tokens. So even in token systems, there is going to be some overhead. So it is better to call it as sequencing overhead and not clocking overhead. Is that okay? Any questions still here?
So suppose we are putting one flip-flop in a path. So the clocking overhead will be one clock period.
So as just now said, Faisal, we will not use the term clocking overhead. We will use the term sequencing overhead.
Okay, sequencing overhead would be one clock period, like एक clock आ जाएगा तब flip-flop दे देगा output.
No, the sequencing overhead will be the delay of the flop. That is CQ to Q delay of the flop.
CQ to Q. Okay. Okay.
Because that is the additional delay that your logic now has to travel, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood. Okay.
Okay. So that becomes the delay. That is the sequencing overhead. We will talk about sequencing overhead in much detail. after we introduce these sequencing elements to you, we'll talk about the sequencing overhead in much detail in a little while. Yes, Tarun?
So you were saying that typically we don't know the slower and faster path when we synthesize a circuit. But again, that's, if I think at system level, we typically do know, right? That
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this path will take
So-
more time.
At the time of synthesis, we would know, but at the time of writing an RTL, we may not know. So you would put the flop everywhere, and then you synthesize. So what I meant was that before synthesis, we may not really know which circuits, which paths are fast, which paths are slow. Because during synthesis also some paths will be converted to faster paths by using faster cells and slower cells and all that. So we, in RTL itself, will put the flops at all the places. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Okay. So now, what kind of sequential circuits do we already know of? So two circuits, essentially, latches and flip-flops. Latches are level sensitive. Flip-flops are edge triggered. Just to differentiate between the latches and the flip-flops, let us look at this timing diagram. The top signal is clock. Data toggled. When did data toggle? Data toggled when the clock was high. Since data toggled then, what happened? When data toggled, latch and the clock was high, latch immediately reflected transition of data onto the output. Flip-flop, on the other hand, was edge triggered. The rising edge of the clock had already passed. So this data, this toggling of data was not recorded by the latch. Now data toggled again. Now, since at this point of time, clock was low, even the latch was opaque. It was not transparent yet. When clock went high, both flop and the latch gave the right output. Right output means they reflected D on Q. Are you able to see this difference, the key difference between a latch and a flop? How level sensitive and edge triggered sequential elements are different?
So can you please elaborate on this transparent and opaque?
Okay, so when I use the term transparent, I mean to say that whatever comes on D, it will be transmitted on Q. And opaque means it will not be transmitted. Is it clear?
So, whatever appears on D will anyway be transmitted to Q, be it on a clock edge. So only on a clock edge, maybe.
Yes. So only on the clock edge, the flip-flop is transparent. You realize this?
Yes, sir.
Whereas the latch is transparent through the entire clock high period.
Okay. Okay. Sir.
That is the difference.
Sir?
Yes, Raghav?
So, I mean, if the clock, if it is at the positive edge of the clock, so will the clock transition or the clock slew will determine like how effectively, what for effective time and the flip-flop will be on for like, if my, for example, slew is more, so will I say that my flip-flop is transparent for much greater time?
So flip-flop will transmit whatever is there on the rising edge. We will just now in a little while see that to get a correct output on the flip-flop, you will have to ensure that data is stable for some time before the clock arrives. That is called as the setup time.
Yes, sir.
So we will ensure that there is no uncertainty at the output, Raghav.
Okay.
Through different timing constraints. Because otherwise you're absolutely right. If the clock slew is very bad or something like that is there, then how will we ensure what data is coming at the output? So that is where we have two timings, setup and hold timings associated with the flop or a latch or anything like that.
So okay.
So is it something like designers tend to prefer flip-flops over latches?
दोबारा से बोलो.
So do designers in general prefer flip-flop over latches?
Why?
It's just a question. So I have not seen latches at many places. Even in FPGAs, there are very few latches, and most of them are flip-flops only.
Yeah, see what happens is that यही अभी जो हम spurious transitions की बात कर रहे थे ना मधुर.
Yes, sir.
Now let us say this intermediate D going high and low was a spurious transition. It was, see, it went high, then went low. So it was a glitch. What did the latch do? Latch transmitted the glitch to the other side. So all the signals on the other side also started to toggle. So lots of power got wasted.
Yes, sir.
In a flop, all that did not happen. In a flop, I said, okay, now this one clock period is the time for this combinational circuit to evaluate. Let it evaluate completely. Only after it has evaluated, I will sample it. So the intermediate transitions are no longer bothersome for the subsequent part of the circuit.
Okay.
Therefore, flip-flops are preferred at many places.
Okay, sir. And sir, what about timing? Is timing also somehow better for flip-flop? And in static timing analysis, we create problems whenever we use latches. Is it something like that?
So let us wait for the next lecture. We will see what is the timing overhead of flop and latch.
Okay, sir.
We will cover that.
Okay, sir.
It's a very relevant question, but we are anyway going to cover that in the next class. Let us just go step by step.
Yes, sir.
Rajneesh?
Sir, in the timing diagram drawn below, sir, when is this latch is transparent and opaque, sir? According to this,
Yeah, you tell me.
sir. According to me, when the clock is 0, and D is 0, then and when Q is becomes 0, then here the latch must be opaque, and when the clock is 1 and this Q is 1, then it must be transparent, sir. Because according to me, sir, opaque is just reverse of transparent. So when the latch is off, then whatever is on Q must be like the opaque one, sir.
So if you look at it, you
Yes,
will
sir.
realize there is no dependence on the value on D for the
Yes,
latch
sir.
to be opaque or transparent.
Matlab, sir, that the latch must be off, sir. Q must be independent of D.
When?
For opaque.
So when is it opaque?
When depending upon the clock, when the latch is either on or off.
When the clock is low, then this
Yes.
particular latch is opaque.
Okay,
Because
sir.
whatever is the value of D, it is not coming on Q.
Okay, sir. And the transparent one, D will reflect on Q.
Yes. When the clock was 1, then latch is transparent. So whatever D was there, it reflected on Q. Whether D was 0, whether D was 1, whatever it was, it reflected on Q. So transparent and opaque of the latch is dependent on the clock level. That is why latch is called as level sensitive.
Yes, sir.
Flip-flop is instead called as edge triggered, because whatever we see on the clock rising edge or falling edge, whatever edge triggered you are,
Yes.
that is what will be sampled and that is what will be used. Whatever happens intermediately, we will ignore that. We will not use that.
Yes, sir. Fine.
Okay?
Sir,
Yes, Gagandeep?
sir, if we use the latch instead of a flip-flop, sir, then won't it be that I will have only the negative edge for the evaluation for the block of combination circuit?
If we use negative edge of the clock for the flip-flop, then the next sampling of data will also happen at the next negative edge.
Yes, but sir, I can do the evaluation over the complete time period of the clock.
Yes, because it will then be negative edge to negative edge. So I will still have the entire time period with me. Yes.
In the latch, it won't be half time period will be available.
You'll see. Latch has some other benefits.
There are benefits.
Otherwise, I would not be telling you about it, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Rajneesh, you have one more question? Your hand is raised.
No, sir, I forgot. Sir.
Okay. Raghav?
Sampling in effect means you're saying the transparent you're saying sampling.
Yeah, we will see.
Okay.
We will see the benefit of latch and time borrowing. So wait, once we
Okay,
come
sir.
to the timing part, we will see the benefit of the latch there.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now this is the oldest latch. Do you see? This is a latch. When CK is high, D or Q follows D. When CK is low, Q is independent of D. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what are the challenges and what are the benefits of this latch?
Sir, we are feeding to the diffusion part of the transistor. That is an issue.
Okay, diffusion input. And so this is a benefit or loss?
Loss.
Loss. Okay. What else?
Sir, two latches in parallel, if the output is shorted, then because this is a pass transistor, we can have like input being driven from the output kind of thing.
Okay. The output can end up driving the input. Good. Very good. What else?
So VT drop.
VT drop.
VT drop. Very good. See the first thing. Let us look at the benefit. The benefit is that it's just one transistor latch. Just one transistor. So it's tiny and also very low clock load. But cons, as you just said, VT drop, output, input on diffusion, output being able to drive the input and all that. Back driving, everything. All these are losses or cons of using this kind of a latch. And output noise sensitivity also. So lots of negatives. So what do? We change the design. We say that, okay, let us use a transmission gate latch. At least VT drop wala problem solve hoga. So VT drop wala problem solve hua, but what happens? Now I require an inverted clock also. I'm still on diffusion inputs. I still may have back driving. All those things will still remain, though VT drop problem is solved. So I want to solve other problems also. So what do?
Cascade with inverter.
Yeah, so we say that, okay, let me put an inverter at the output. Now the output cannot drive the input. Or let me put an inverter on the input. Now the input is no longer driving a diffusion. So what happened? I have restoring output, then no back driving, and fixes either output noise sensitivity or diffusion input problem. Are you able to see this? But either of those two, not both of them. So what would be a better solution then?
Sir, how is the back driving problem getting solved here?
So now tell me, can Q drive D? Nahin, na? D is either going to a gate or Q is going to the drain and cannot transmit it to the X node over here. So Q cannot drive D now. So back driving is not a problem now.
Sir, can I use two inverters at the input, one at the input and other at the output to fix both issues?
Yeah, can we use both inverters at both input and output? Yes, we could. So see, we are using it over here. Input is also inverter, output is also inverter. More importantly, even before that, just because this latch is still dynamic in nature, you see, the charge on node X is sensitive to noise. This latch is still dynamic in nature. When the Q bar will go off, when this transmission gate will go off, then this Q bar will be floating. है ना? So first, an important thing is to solve this problem first. So we say, okay, we add feedback. We add feedback so that there is no dynamic node now. So I've reduced the sensitivity of the output. However, in this setting, there is backdriving risk. Therefore, what do? We say feedback bhi dalte hain and we add the inverter on the input also. And you will see it fixes diffusion input problem also. This is non-inverting. And there is like if you size it, no, in fact, the sizing ki baat hi nahi aayi. When you want this path to be active, this path will be off. So there is no backdriving also. Are you able to see this?
Sir, can you explain this? Actually, it's getting after that. For example, when we had only one inverter cascaded, it solved our problem for the backdriving one. But
Yes.
after that, what we did exactly?
So even when that one inverter was put, do you realize that there were nodes which were not driven when the clock was off? There were floating nodes there where the charge was stored on some gate or some capacitance.
So if the inverter was at the output, after the transmission gate, then I won't be getting floating, right?
The output is floating now, no?
Here in the second one is floating, but the above one is not floating, right?
Above one X is floating.
Okay, right. Okay.
Therefore, output becomes floating.
Yes. Okay.
है ना?
Sir,
So
why can't
floating
we
things
use
are important to fix first. So therefore, we first talked about adding a tri-state.
why
Sir?
can't we use a beekeeper sir over there or level restorer in between to make sure that we won't float that exposition which we were instead
Yeah,
of
so that
tri-state.
is what feedback is, na, Vaishnav. Look at this. What is this? Level restorer for the dynamic gate, level restorer was a simple PMOS. For a static gate, for an inverter, the output can be both 0 and 1. So the level restorer has to be an inverter. That is what we have put. Na?
Yes, sir. Understood. Yeah.
We've done that only.
Yes.
Just that we've used a tri-state over here. Why did we use a tri-state and not a simple inverter?
To make the driving of X easier for me. If it was a latch, then inverting it through D would be a challenge.
Yes. If this was not a tri-state, if it was an inverter, then this inverter would be driving X and this D will be driving X. And it will be difficult to write into X.
So can you elaborate exactly why we're doing tri-state inverter? I mean, could get it.
Okay. Let us say we said that we just want to put a level restorer. That is what was asked. Vaishnav said, let us put a level restorer. So for an inverter, the level restorer would mean a feedback inverter. Instead of half latch, we put a full latch. Am I right? Hello. Have you understood this part? Why do I need a full inverter and not just a PMOS?
No, sir.
Sir, to have both 0 and 1 stable at X position, sir.
See, in a dynamic gate, your output could only be 0, could only go to 0.
Yes, sir.
So you always knew that if the output goes to 0, then that is when I need to, or when the output remains 1, that is when I need to maintain the output there.
Yes,
In
sir.
this case, it's a latch. Output
Okay,
could be 0 and 1 both.
Okay.
So you need to maintain both 0 and 1. So you need to put an inverter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I put an inverter, what happens? This, let us say this was 0 earlier. So this will drive this at 1. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Now, when I turn the clock on, D wants to write into this.
Yes, sir.
But this inverter is driving back.
Yeah, okay.
So
Huh.
D wanted to discharge this, but this inverter is also charging this up.
Yes, sir.
So this is a fight condition. है ना?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Now, if we put a tri-state, what happens? If I put a tri-state over here, what happens now?
Sir, we are synchronizing the input to X appropriately, so that I won't get in a condition that at a time these both get into a conflict.
Yes. So when this path is active, this would be off. Look at it. When phi is equal to 1, this NMOS is on, phi bar is equal to 0, so this PMOS is also on, D is trying to write to X. But when phi is equal to 1, it is going to the PMOS over here. So this tri-state will no longer be driving.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So now you've removed the fighting condition. So we've actually done the level restorer stuff only, just made it safer.
sir, can't it also be done by using a feedback inverter, but a smaller feedback inverter so that it doesn't fight back?
Which feedback inverter?
So we earlier drawed like that SRAM type cell. So we this bottom inverter, which is used for feedback, we can size it so small that it doesn't fight back.
Yeah, but then you know about variations, no?
Yes, sir.
So what can variations do? Variations can make your this inverter very strong.
So how strong? I mean, I am designing it to be so small. So
Yeah, but even then, what's the harm in putting it into a tri-state? You are guaranteeing functionality. Independent of any variations, you are guaranteeing functionality when you put it a tri-state. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
That's why.
So clock load would decrease.
I know, but functionality is more important.
So what's the internal structure of this tri-state buffer?
Oh, you don't know the tri-state buffer?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, so tri-state buffer, sorry, I assumed that आप लोगों ने tri-state buffer तो देखा हुआ है. So if I say this is input and this is output, then there will be CK bar going over and CK going over here. So that when CK is equal to 1, this acts as an inverter. Is it
Okay.
clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's just an inverter only. We just clocked it
Yes, sir.
so that it does not fight back the forward path when needed.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
So I mean, for example, in the simple, when we had only cascaded the inverter after the X node, and I know that the X is basically my floating high. So for example, sir, I'm only concerned with the output when it is a high impedance one, because zero to hamara zero, it's good, like, right? Zero would be.
Why? Why is 0 good? There is a metal running next to this node X, and it is going from 0 to 1. It will couple a charge 1 on this X.
Okay, so but like, is it, I'm considering the kind of worst case, like it will going above or below the VDD by 2 position.
See,
Because
Raghav, you are a designer. You cannot leave anything to chance. I just gave you a failure mode. You cannot think beyond that now. If a
okay,
circuit can fail, you can no longer use it.
okay, so like
You have to find another solution.
So like we can't rely on the cascaded inverter to restore the kind of
Cascaded inverter.
so this inverter only, like simple single inverter that we've cascaded after the transmission gate.
How will it restore? It is not even driving. If you have just one inverter on the output, no feedback, how will the output of the inverter restore the input?
No, so if it is if the variation is within the noise margins, then it can restore, right? Then it can.
How? In the dynamic gates, we looked at the dynamic gates before this system.
Yes,
Why
sir.
did we look at the dynamic gates first? Because in dynamic gates, we saw that there's nothing that can help you to restore.
Yes, yes, sir.
So what will restore over here? Tell me.
No, so I'm thinking, for example, if X is there, if X is at 1 and it suffers kind of leakage, so its voltage will drop. But if it is within, if the drop is within the noise margin of the inverter, then only
How do you
then
control it within the noise margin?
okay, right. That is the challenge. Yes.
No, you cannot control it. No, you to control it, you have to put this kind of a feedback.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rajneesh.
Sir, when this clock is zero, sir, that is when this transmission gate is off and this tri-state feedback, this turns on. Sir,
Hmm.
any value on this Q bar, sir,
Mhm.
may affect this X. Sir, still
Mhm.
those are advantages, but this may corrupt and whole of our operation may get disturbed.
So will X and Q bar not always be inverted of each other, versions of each other?
No, sir. When this above latch is off and this when this below this tri-state buffer is on, in that case.
So D is no longer driving now.
No, sir. Yes, sir.
D had driven X to some value
Yes, sir.
and X had driven Q to some value, Q bar to some value.
Yes, sir.
So X is equal to inverted of value of Q bar. X is already
Yes, sir.
equal to that. Am I right?
Yes, sir. But sir, any glitch on this Q bar may change this X. Suppose
Any glitch
if some
in Q bar will change. So that is the noise margin of a latch. Yes. So
yes,
that is a different thing. See, that is the noise margin of this latch now.
yes, sir.
So we're talking about an entirely different aspect. But if there is no noise, then there is no problem. Am I right?
Yes,
No
sir.
noise means even if there is some noise which leads to some slight dips, not a glitch. And
Yes, sir.
dips, are you able to see the difference between a dip and a glitch?
Sir, dip and glitch. Sir, glitch will happen in Q bar and dip will happen on this X. Sir.
No. So
Sir, just guessing.
no. So glitch means that there is something which is some rise or fall, some transition on the signal is so large that the
Yes, sir.
subsequent stage samples it as a change in input.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is a glitch. So that is a hazard actually. What happens is Q pe aapne you coupled so much of noise on Q, rising noise on Q, let us say that
Yes.
Q bar hai, sorry, it's Q bar over here. You coupled so much noise on the Q bar that X actually sense that Q bar is equal to 0 and then X will go to 1, let us say.
Yes.
So in that case, we say that the noise margin of the latch has been corrupted.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But if someone is within that noise margin, then the latch will restore X to 0 and Q bar to 1 at all times.
Yes. Sir,
Which if you did not have a feedback could not have been done. Restoring could not have been possible.
yes.
Hmm?
Sir, one thing, sir. Sir, when you added this buffer in front of transmission gate, you told that there is no back driving this. And
Yeah.
after that, we added this tri-state buffer. So
Huh.
can this Q bar affect the D at any instance possible?
Now see now, Q bar will drive X through this
Yes.
tri-state, and therefore Q bar can end up driving D also.
Yes.
If there
So-
is a situation where phi and phi bar they have some delay between them.
Yes. So मतलब सर बैक ड्राइविंग तभी होगी जब ये ट्राई स्टेट बफर और ट्रांसमिशन भी दोनों एक साथ ऑन रहेगा.
Yes, that is why we just call it a risk. We're not saying it will happen. We're saying there is a risk it can happen.
वो maybe it will depend upon our circuit and
It will depend on the timing variation between phi and phi bar.
Okay, sir.
Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. Gagandeep?
Sir, this basically this type of latch that you have drawn back-to-back inverter, this we use in the SRAM cell. So sir, there will kind of largely ignore this diffusion input and all those problems are there also. I'm driving a pass gate in the SRAM cell.
So SRAM cell is a different thing. We will look at SRAM cell when we will cover that topic. Okay. SRAM cell is never driven by a system input. SRAM cell is always driven by something which is within your control as a circuit designer. So you can always characterize it and you can always manage it.
So I know that what is in the proximity of
Yes.
the cell and what are the
Yes.
loads.
SRAM cell is very controlled. It is used in a very
Yes, sir.
controlled environment. So we can do it over there. We cannot do it elsewhere.
Okay. Yes. Sir.
Okay. Samyak?
So the tri-state buffer is essentially a better version of transmission gate. So why are we using transmission gate at all?
Yeah. So you can use transmission gates also, yes.
No, I said tri-state is a better version of transmission gate.
Yeah. So sorry, you can use tri-states. So in fact, you will see that in flip-flops, there are transmission gate versions of flip-flops and there are tri-state versions of flip-flops. Both exist.
Okay.
It's more transistors in a tri-state. There's an inversion also happening in a tri-state. So due to area constraints or due to inversion constraints, you may not want to use a tri-state everywhere. So there are both versions that exist. Okay. Yeah, Samyak?
Yes, sir, that's it.
Yeah. So Raghav?
Yes, sir. So there were two properties early in the slides. One was output noise sensitivity and non-restoring. Non-restoring, I get it, but like output, aren't they two linked actually? That output noise sensitivity or non-restoring.
Why?
So can you elaborate on the output noise sensitivity here for this kind of design?
So in this one, output noise sensitivity is not there.
Yes,
because
sir.
output is driven by an inverter.
Yes, sir.
But if the buffer was placed on the input, in this case, there is output noise sensitivity. Hana? When this transmission gate is off, then output is floating.
Yes.
That is what output noise sensitivity is.
Okay.
Okay.
And sir, in this last slide only, what exactly you're talking about the leakage part? This in the last slide.
Leakage.
So static. This leakage point, sir.
Yeah. So it says that because there are leaking circuits today, and there are let us say if this feedback was not there. अभी तक हमने कहा that X is getting disturbed because of crosstalk noise. What they are saying is that what is being written in the slide over here is that this leakage will also happen, which can degrade X. Either this way or this way, leakage can happen both sides. So because of this leakage, and this leakage becoming actually a big problem today, you anyways need a feedback in advanced technologies. Even if you say my system has no crosstalk, because of leakage, you will still need feedback.
So this leakage problem will be existing for all kind of designs that we have seen till now.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
So this then has a buffered input, which fixes the diffusion input problem, makes the latch non-inverting in itself, and also fixes the problem linked to output noise sensitivity and so on. And this is a situation. So यहाँ पे क्या करा गया? यहाँ पे there is a separate inverter which drives Q. So any noise on Q, see, you're still asking that there is some noise on Q and that can impact X. We were discussing this just a little while back.
Yes, sir.
So to avoid this problem, what is done is we say that, okay, let us separate the Q buffer. Now, whatever happens here only. This latch in itself is safe. This feedback loop will ensure that X remains at a stable value. But you see, this is so much bigger than the first latch that we talked about. है ना? This is so much bigger than that. Clock load has increased so much, but it is still very widely used because it is the most robust one. Is that okay? So,
Sir, I just wanted to ask, for example, in the complex gate designing that we're doing, if you're not considering the PTL based design logic, then the diffusion input kind of scenario won't be occurring, right? For us.
if we are not considering the why
For-
transmission gate में भी तो diffusion input है.
So, but like for the static and the dynamic, we won't be getting that diffusion input case because we would be driving the gates only, right? If you're designing the complex gate
Yeah,
itself.
but if you design a complex gate with transmission gates, even then there is diffusion input. That is what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. So,
Not
but that
just
will
PTL, even transmission gates.
okay, right.
So Abhinav,
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
yeah, you're audible.
So, sir, in previous slide, when we are talking about that risk, when tri-state buffer, that feedback part is driving our input D. So we are discussing that if there is any delay between clock and clock bar, then back driving may happen. It might be a risk. So, basically, we are taking clock and clock bar as independent sequence, right? Or we are driving clock bar from clock.
So you tell me, what would you do as a designer?
As a designer, sir, I think clock and clock bar should be independent to avoid that risk.
But it should be independent means, would you put two PLLs there?
Sorry?
Will you use two PLLs there, two clock generators there?
No, sir. But
you will use same clock generator.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you have same clock generator, then you have to generate CK and CK bar. Can they be exactly the same phase?
No,
or can they be exactly 180 degrees apart?
No, sir. Okay.
There will be some inverter delay, na?
Yes, sir. Okay.
है ना?
Yes, sir.
So wherever you are generating clock bar, whether it is in the PLL and then you're routing, making a full clock tree for clock bar also, or you're saying taking clock inside your latch and inverting it there itself and using it, whatever you choose, do you realize that there will be some delay?
Yes, sir. Some delay. Okay.
है ना?
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So just like we drew the latches, we can also make flip-flops. A flip-flop is essentially a pair of back-to-back latches. So if I did not want to go to a very stable feedback-driven circuit, I could have a latch which has floating gates like X. Or I could have a latch like this one, where my outputs do not even touch or influence the inputs in whichever possible way. So which flip-flop do you think will be most commonly used?
So bottom.
The lower one, because it's much more robust. Even though it is much bigger in size, but it is more robust. So we use something like this. Raghav?
So in this both this the additional inverter that I'm using, that is just for the functionality, right?
That is just so that I do not end up influencing the internal node, the latch, from the output.
Okay. So, but like in the second design, after after I've isolated the Q bar, I'm still adding an additional inverter that I don't need, right?
I need Q and Q bar both. In a flip-flop,
Okay.
you will see both outputs are usually there.
Okay.
So those inverters are put inside the flop itself.
Okay, so the back driving issue to minimize that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So now You remember we talked about clock gating, where we said that to reduce dynamic power, we will gate some parts of the circuits so that there is no clock toggling there.
Yes, sir.
So that we save power of toggling of signals. So clock gating is enabled in flip-flops and latches by using the use of this signal called enable. When enable equal to 0, any transition on clock is ignored. And you can implement this system in two of the ways, either by using a multiplexer or using a AND or an AND gate. Are you able to see this? Any questions here? Are you able to see that if clock equal to 0, the output will become independent of clock? If enable equal to 0, output becomes independent of clock. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So, any questions on this? Functionality is evident, fairly evident from the slide itself. Okay.
In this multiplexer one, the multiplexer thing, sir, there don't we even give an extra constraint of like enable should come first and D would settle and then the clock comes. I mean the enable and D will also have some because the
Enable is not a clock. Enable is a signal. So those regular signals के बीच में you don't put constraints. Clock and enable, yes, there is a constraint. Clock and data, there will be a constraint, but not between data and enable.
that is considered to be combinational only.
Yeah. है ना?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you
Madhav?
elaborate? So can you elaborate on this point? Clock gate increase in setup skew. I mean, how is the skew getting affected?
How is the skew getting mapped? We actually just keep
Okay.
this with yourself. When we will talk about the timing, you will see what skew is.
Okay, sir.
अभी तो I have not even introduced the term skew to you, ना?
Yes, sir.
अभी बस इसको park कर लो. Just park it somewhere. You will see how the skew will get impacted. It will be evident to you.
Okay. And so in the multiplexer based design, when my enable is say 0, I mean, how is the clock? I'm like isolating from the clock when with the enable signal that I was not able to clear.
So the latch is not changing or not going to D, na? D will not reflect on Q until enable is 0. Because the input of the latch remains constant, which is equal to the output.
If
When
my
enable
enable
equal
is,
to 0, what path gets activated in the multiplexer design?
so the D1.
Enable
Okay.
equal to 0.
Okay, okay, yes. Yes.
है ना?
Yes.
0.
Yes.
So enable equal to 0 means this path is activated. So any change in D will not come into picture.
Okay, okay. Okay. Sir.
Same here. You see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ठीक है?
Yes.
Now, Tarun?
No, sir, actually Raghav asked that out.
I'm sorry? हो गया doubt.
Oh yeah, that was asked.
Okay, great. So now, in addition to enable signals, you will see that flip-flops also sometimes have what is called as a reset signal. What does reset mean? Reset means that the output will be pushed to 0. Output will be pushed to low when reset is asserted. And it could be synchronous or asynchronous. The first implementation is synchronous one, where output will be pushed to 0 at the next rising edge of the clock or whenever the clock is high again. This one, on the other hand, is an asynchronous reset, where by using reset on additional gates inside the latches, I have ensured that as soon as reset comes, my output will be 0. Are you able to see this? Why do you think this reset pin is even necessary?
Sir, maybe while putting my circuit into sleep or uh, getting some part of circuit, I want to bring it to a pre- uh, present state that is predetermined. That kind of functionality.
I suppose power up is happening. A power up has just happened. And now you want to say that, okay, I want to start with a clean slate. During power up, some latches will be 0, some latches will be 1. I have no control over anything. I know some latches could be 0, some. So I just assert reset. All the flops, everything is 0 now. Now it is a deterministic state that I'm starting from.
So what is power up? Okay, like on off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when you do this power up, do you really want all flops to be 0? Or there could be some flops because of the state machine requirements, you may want them to be 1 also. It can happen.
Yes, sir.
So that is what takes us to the next kind of a flip-flop, which is set reset flip-flop. Where if you want to set, then something would happen. If you want to reset, something else would happen. So in this case, what you do, you are able to create the state machine that you desire. You obviously notice there are many more transistors in this flop now. And all the inverters are converted into 2 input gates at least, if not more. है ना? ये तो tri-stated gates हैं. This has many more transistors now. But if you need this functionality in a few flops, you will use the set reset flops at those places. At other places where they are not a part of the FSM of the system or anything like that, you may still use the regular reset flops or the regular flops also without even reset. But some flops in the FSM, you may want to use set reset flops. So that you can power up in a desired state machine. And then therefore give faster output to the user or whatever. Faster, better experience to the user. So you'll lose some area, but you will have a deterministic power up by using this set reset flop. Okay, any questions?
So sir, like with this set and reset, I'm trying to control the internal states of the flip-flop, like irrespective.
And the output.
Yes, sir. Like it is apart from that normal computation. That exactly, I mean.
Yeah, I'm not even waiting for clock to arrive. I'm saying, let me change the output even before clock arrives.
So, but the clock, only when it is asynchronous, then only I will be able to control. Otherwise, with synchronous, clock has to arrive, right?
Yeah. In this case, set reset is usually asynchronous.
Okay, set reset, both are used with asynchronous only.
Usually.
Okay.
When it is only reset, you can think of synchronous and asynchronous, but set reset flop, people understand it is for the state machine. So the clock may not even be coming at that time.
Okay.
Because we're talking about power up. The clock
Yes.
may not be active yet. Even then,
Yes.
I may want to have a state machine of my choice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else?
So in the state machine, like why is the need of setting this? मतलब actually में अंदर हो क्या रहा है कि हमको set की जरूरत पड़ रही है?
Okay. How do I put it? There could be a state machine. For example, let us say there is a state machine that controls the configuration inputs of the memory.
Okay.
Now for memory, some inputs are expected to be held at 1 and some other inputs are expected to be powered up at 0.
Okay.
So you need some signals to be powered up at 1 and others at 0.
Yes, sir. So, okay. Okay.
That is why. So now you may think that I may use an inverter, but if the power up has not completely happened, if the power up has not completely happened, then asynchronous set reset will still work. Will still power up the system in the right way, even before first clock arrives and things like that.
Yes, sir.
So now we in the few slides back, we saw that there is this possibility of an overlap between CLK and CLK bar, which can lead to backgate driving and all that stuff. You remember? Then to avoid that, what did we do? We added inverters, extra inverters on the outputs and everything. So by using this true single phase clock flip-flops, I can avoid that altogether. This is called TSPC, true single phase clock flops. Here, what has happened is, here you will notice that I'm able to hold the data or make it as a latch by using only one phase of clock. The risk is that this internal node, intermediate node, is dynamic in nature now. So TSPC flops are much faster, are smaller, have lesser risk of CK bar overlaps because there is only CK now. But there is a risk of this intermediate node struggling because of noise issues. Okay.
So this looks like a dynamic gate for clock
Yeah.
input. Sir.
Yeah, that is why I said none, which is a risk. The node is floating there. So now if you want to include logic in TSPC, you can also include logic into TSPC latches. But again, always remember, this is a risk. There will be floating nodes somewhere or the other. If both in and in1 and in2 are 1, if both in1 and in2 are 1, then what happens? And let us say CK is also is equal to 0. Then what happens? This node is floating. Are you able to see this? So the output will be tentative. We do not know. It's a risky kind of a design. So see, dynamic circuits without level restorers, without all those checks in place, can be very risky. TSPC and therefore will not be used in places where noise immunity is considered to be a very high criteria. Wherever speed is very highly required or something like that, you could still use TSPC. Yes.
So can you please elaborate exactly what exactly are we solving the problem with this TSPC? I was not able to get.
So there was you remember there was this tri-state, and we said there is a possibility of Q back driving D when CK and CK bar overlap.
Yes, sir.
So and to avoid this, then we added inverters here and we did so many things.
Yes, sir.
Now we say that, is there a way to avoid the extra gates, save area? And that is what TSPC is solving. Here only CK is being used.
Okay, so I'm doing this to avoid the back driving.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. However, notice that this means that this node is now floating. It comes with a risk. So use it only very, very carefully in a very, very controlled environment, not anywhere else. Okay. Similarly, we have a TSPC flip-flop also.
Sir?
Yes.
So by default, what design do we use?
By default, what design do we use? The static, the one that I showed with so many extra transistors.
Okay. Okay.
The one now without enable is the one that is usually used. Enable one is also required at some places, and then you also require set and set reset flops at some places. But majority of the times, the regular flop will be used without enable and without set reset.
Okay, and so they both need clock and clock bar signals, but by default, whenever we see some synthesized netlist, we only see one clock in any flip flop or latch.
The clock bar is generated inside the flop.
So using inverter only.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Gagandeep.
Sir, in the circuits for the TSPC, sir, I'm seeing that consistently the clock transistor is nearer to the output node. Why is that?
Node. दोबारा से बोलो, clock transistor is nearer to the output node.
Yes.
But only so that unnecessary toggling on D, for example, should not lead to noise on X.
Okay.
Hmm?
But,
Yes, sir.
but clock activity factor is the highest. So shouldn't it be isolated instead of D? I mean.
So anyway, flop है. Flop में तो आपकी clock आएगी ना?
Yes,
Clock is
sir.
toggling, so flop तो will use that clock anyways.
So like I was not able to get the answer for the Gagandeep's question. I mean, why you were taking that, what he asked.
Okay, let us look at the other way around. Let us say clock was on the other side. Clock was on the top and D was coming to the, what do you say, inverter kind of a thing directly. What would happen?
So I mean, if it is coming on the top, then the D would be coming here. So if D, I'm considering that D, okay, but if it's flip flop, I know that it is edge triggered. So, but D, if it coming, so if at the edge of the clock only, my D can be impact my X node.
But if it comes in the middle, if D comes closer to X, then what happens? It can do something even when it is low.
Even when the edge is not triggered, then also it can impact the X node. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
We don't want that.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So we are giving the edge sensitivity much precise towards the clock, right, sir? So that as
friends, let's not do these hypothetical experiments. You just draw the circuit and check the functionality, na?
Yes, sir.
है ना?
Yes,
Gagandeep?
Sir, even if I push this clock transistor above the D PMOS, even then the VDD will not be connected to the X, even if the D is making some spurious movements. So it does not really affect the output node in the either case, right? Because that path has to be on.
Yes, that path has to be on. But again, I would say you just experiment, make the circuit with the clock on the top and D in the center, and you will see what happens. I want you to do this exercise yourself.
Yes, sir. I'll try. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I just wanted to say one thing, sir. So if my clock is at the top and my D is at the bottom, so there might be a parasitic capacitance between my D and the clock, right? So in that position, when there is a glitch on my D, then there is a possibility that my output might get discharged.
Yeah. So glitches, etc., all those things, dynamic gates के साथ हमेशा problem है ही है, Vaishnav. You will see that problem would exist even here now.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
है ना? Let's see. Okay. So anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time on TSPC because I just wanted to introduce it to you. Not too much time on it because there are other designs also. For example, C2MOS, where you have this what do you say, this kind of a design where even if now you have both phases of clock over here, CLK and CLK bar both exist over here, but what happens at any given point of time, even if one side goes active, the other side will not drive. So even in the case of a 0-0 overlap or a 1-1 overlap, even in the case of overlaps, you will see that your design is safe. Okay. Again, this over here also, this X node is many times floating, not really a very stable state to be in. So even C2MOS designs you will not find to be used at many places. But yes, where there is a very high requirement for density and also this risk of clock bar overlap, you can think of using this kind of a C2MOS design also. And then you will have to use keepers, you know, as is already said, you will have to use keepers and all those things will need to be done. Okay. This is also a dynamic design. So while these are solutions, you will notice they are not very commonly used because of the very nature that there are floating nodes there. And with floating nodes, the biggest problem is on a flop or a sequencing element, if you use floating nodes, the overall robustness of the entire system can get compromised. So they are not very commonly used, but they are proposals, they are ideas which you just need to be aware of.
So
Okay.
TSPC and C2MOS are both parallel solutions to the bad drive problem, right?
Yes.
There is no advantage over C2MOS over TSPC, right?
No. No.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now we come to timings. I think let's start with this in the next class. The timings of timings related to a latch and a flop. We'll start with the next class. Then we will see. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Great. Yes.
Sir, in digital circuits, we studied a very different design of flip-flop and latches in that we progressed very uniformly from an SR latch, then we added enable signal, then we created a latch, then we created master slave to make a flip-flop, D flip-flop. So, and then we also saw a design of D flip-flop which consisted of many AND gates and NAND gates, NOT gates. So, which was not even master slave, it was just a single D flip-flop. So, do we even make those designs, or we make the designs that we just saw?
So we want to keep it as simple as possible and as dense as possible, na Mazhar?
Yes.
So this is how we would use it, as dense as possible. So even the densest one that we looked at today, which was the one that, let me go back to that slide. The ones that we looked at with set reset or isse pehle wala. You see, this one itself is such a big flop, is it not?
It's nowhere near what we were taught in digital circuits. The digital circuits diagram was just too big.
Yeah, but look at it. The digital circuit one is something like this. Because digital circuit one, you did all set reset also from outside, now because you started from SR latch.
Yes, sir.
So digital circuit one looked like this. Probably. Hai na? So,
yes, sir. Yeah.
Because you started from a SR latch.
Yes, sir.
Over here, what we are saying is that set reset functionality is not required in all the flops. So why waste area?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
In VLSI, area is gold. So why waste area? जहाँ पे नहीं चाहिए, क्यों उस functionality की वजह से area waste करना? Let's save area.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Great. So we will close the class now. If there were some project related doubts, you can ask them. Kagandi?
Yes, sir. Sir, I was asking that if we look at the layout aspect, then C-square MOS looks like very, very good design. That.
Yes, it could be.
So could we like to do a trade-off and go for it and make two keepers and then implement the C-square MOS instead of this?
Yeah, but it still will be pseudo-static, Kagandi. Realize this. There will still be some risk, some robustness risk. So people use it anyways. That is why I've even touched upon it. Otherwise, touch hi na karta main. People use it, but it's very rarely used. In very, very specific cases, someone would use that kind of a flop.
Yes, sir. We had some project-related doubts also. Sir, basically, we are comparing the complex and non-complex implementation of AOI 221. So in that, sir, we simply created the two netlists and tried to verify that whether the delays decrease in the non-complex implementation. Also, we did the theoretical calculation. So by the theoretical calculation, Elmore delay and all, so we were able to we expected that the delay would decrease, but opposite of that is happening. We are getting more delays in the non-complex one.
Okay. So anyways, finally, you would get better delays with the complex implementation because of lesser wires and more density and everything. But I'm surprised that even when you are not talking about the layouts and not talking about those parasitics, even then you are able to see that. क्योंकि हमने जो क्लास में भी एक्सपेरिमेंट करा था उसमें we saw that the delay of a complex gate would be slightly higher, though it is much denser, but the effect would be visible largely only after extraction. So I'm surprised you're able to see it before extraction also.
Sir, class वाले experiment में sir there was a thing that you had put a inverter after the AOI, and then also you removed the two inverters that could have come in the other logic. So that was kind of a natural thing to reduce the delay of the non-complex implementation.
तो भाई साहब यहाँ भी आपको बबल पुशिंग करनी है ना?
जी सर किए हैं सर, उससे हमने नॉर को नैंड में बदलना चाहते हैं. So can we do that?
Yeah.
So there is no
Bubble
compulsion
pushing
कि you have to.
बबल पुशिंग करो, स्टैटिक गेट से बनाओ बस. स्टैटिक मतलब बेसिक गेट से बनाओ बस, ये आपसे रिक्वायरमेंट है. फंक्शनैलिटी वो चाहिए. We need that functionality, but you make it from the basic gates. We are calling it AND or invert. That doesn't mean that you have to use an AND gate and an OR gate and an inverter later. No. That is the functionality.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do the bubble pushing, get to the densest implementation. You will see it should be slightly faster.
Non-complex should be faster, right?
Yeah, non-complex should be slightly faster on CAD, on simulation, first simulation. But after layout, you will see that complex one will be much faster.
So in the pre-simulation, we are getting that this complex gate was little faster. That
तो post layout तो फिर और अच्छा हो जाएगा.
So it's not the point that our complex gate is faster. So it's better, it's good if it is faster, but the point is that the theoretical calculations and the simulations are not agreeing with each other. That's the problem. So how will you justify it?
Okay, because in the theoretical calculations also you have ignored so many capacitances. It's not. A simulation has taken care of all the device capacitances, including source, drain, and Miller capacitance, and so many things the simulation would take care of. That's also fine, but I was not expecting it to already show it to you.
So suppose, sir, if we have done the layout of the complex and the non-complex, then my non-complex layout should be faster, or no? Okay, because of the parasitics addition.
Yeah. I was not expecting that parasitics in the non-complex gate would already be so high that it will be slower than the complex gate. I was not expecting this, but if it is happening, it is happening. It's fine.
Okay, so sir, like, can I say that the non-complex and the complex, the differences between the two, that with the complex we are not able to achieve the better area, but also better delays?
Yeah. So the complex gates give you better delays and also better area, more density.
And also the leakage would be better because.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is why these are used so commonly.
Okay, so on all kind of parameters, PPA, I'm getting better complex. Okay, over the non-complex. Okay, sir.
Vaishnav?
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, so when I was making the layout of non-complex gate implementation, sir, so I tried it, sir, and for routing purpose, sir, can we use clock for routing? Sir? Sorry, poly for routing.
No, avoid that. Poly for routing within the cell, it is fine, but
within the cell.
Yeah, within the cell, it is okay. 65 nanometer mein I allow you, but realize that in 45 onwards, poly routing is not allowed.
Sir, then we should definitely go to. When I was seeing the constraints, sir, I made it without M2 layer usage. So without M2 layer usage, I ran a poly down and above for the clock, and one other for one kind of connection which is given
So
back.
see, Vaishnav, clock के लिए तो poly routing बिल्कुल भी नहीं use करनी चाहिए.
Oh.
Because poly is very, very resistive. If you're using, if you use poly for clock routing, then what you are essentially doing is you're putting a large R on the clock path. You're adding lots of more delays there.
Sir, but I am covering it with an PP layer. Doesn't that?
No, even then it is resistive. No, it is bound to be more resistant than a metal, is it not?
Yes, yeah.
That is what you should remember. It is always more resistive than copper.
Okay, sir. So, sir, then can we use M2 layer for that, sir? Just for clock, in case?
No, not for clock, only for routing clock. So you're using dynamic gates.
Yeah, dynamic and non-complex.
So interconnecting clock between different dynamic gates, you can use Metal 2. Interconnecting signals across different gates, you can use Metal 2. For every gate independently, there should be no Metal 2 usage.
Okay, okay, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Gagandeep?
Yes, sir. Sir, very small doubt. Sir, basically, if I have a circuit A and circuit B, if circuit A has a high rise time and circuit B has lower rise time. So, sir, if I ask about the rise propagation delay, then I will expect the circuit A to have a correspondingly high rise delay also, and other one would have the lower. So basically, this should kind of correlate according to, I mean, what I think. But in the simulation that we ran, at that point of time, we were able to see that it was not the case. For the circuit where rise time was higher, the rise propagation delay was lower. So this should not this is very counterintuitive to me.
No, if there is a path that we're talking about, Gagandeep, if there are 2 or 3 stages that a signal is moving from input to output, then it could be that the design is skewed in such a way that the propagation delay moves differently than will be differently for rise and fall. And the final stage, the rise time and fall time is largely dependent on the load versus the drive time of the PMOS and the NMOS in the output stage. So they are actually independent things.
Okay, so I am comparing the input slew of the first stage. So I should compare the input slew of last stage. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Sir, I mean, shouldn't the slew and the delays should have a similar trend?
No, that is what I'm saying, no?
So I'm not able to get that. Why not? If why that should not be the case? I mean,
so let us say you have this chain. Now what did you do? You high skewed it, you low skewed it, you high skewed it, and you, let us say, made this as a balanced one. So what will happen? The high transition, 0 to 1 transition will be fast.
yes.
1 to 0 will be fast. 0 to 1 will be very fast. So the इधर का जो fall transition है, that will happen, the delay will be much shorter. Huh?
Yes.
But in this particular gate, since it is only balanced, my rise time and fall time are exactly the same. So the delays are different, but the rise time and fall time are same. Are you able to see that?
Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
If you are talking only of one gate, then whatever assumptions you are making could be correct. But that is, don't build such correlations which can hamper your overall. If I have not told you that correlation, it may not exist. Or if it exists, then yes, it is good to validate.
So, for example, in this case, both were same. The rise time and the fall time was same, and the delays were different. Could
Yes.
be different. So, but for example, if my rise time is improving, so my rise delay should also be improving, right?
Why? इसी example को देखते हैं चलो. What did I say? I said high, low, high. So इसका high rising fast था, falling fast था, rising fast था, and इसको मैंने suppose इसको भी मैंने high skew कर दिया.
Yes, sir.
So what happened? Because the rising was see, in three inverters, the falling delay of this particular gate was preferred. So even though it is a high skewed inverter, the falling delay will be lesser for this entire path than the rising delay. But this is a high skewed inverter. So the rise time will be much better than the fall time.
Okay, yeah, the delays are getting affected by the previous stages also. What kind of that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. But the rise time, fall time are because of that stage only itself. Okay.
Primarily, yes.
Primarily, yes. Okay, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So always think of the failure case. If you try to, if you're making an assumption, you should not look at examples which justify your assumption. You should try to find examples which violate your assumption. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
This is called failure mode analysis, and good designers should always be able to do very well on the failure mode analysis part. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Vaishnav, your hand is raised. You want to ask something else?
Sir, a last question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so I can use M2 for clock, and they are of different stages, obviously. So I can use M2 for clock, and for routing purpose between different stages, sir, I can use poly, right? Just for routing.
No. Between different stages, you only use metal.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, so can
You
I
can
use
metal
M2
one.
twice?
You can use metal one, but you cannot use poly.
Okay. So can I use M2 twice, sir, in my circuit?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
It should not short.
No, sir.
It should be clean. Otherwise, you use M2 twice, thrice, however times you use.
Okay, sir. Thank
But
you. Thank
use of M2 should only to interconnect gates, not within the gate. Okay.
you. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Abhinav?
My project topic is flip-flop and latches.
Abhinav, your voice is very low.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, sir, my project topic is flip-flop and latches,
Okay.
regular type. So, in the standard cell layout, we are considering clock and clock bar as independent signal because
You will have to generate clock bar from within your flip-flop, Abhinav.
okay,
You will get only clock pin.
okay, sir.
Okay, na? You'll have to put an inverter there yourself.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay? Yeah. Thank you. Anything else? Vaishnav, your hand is still raised.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay. So thank you guys. All the best. A very, very happy Diwali to all of you. Enjoy yourselves. This is a short break, 3-4 days break. So make best use of it. Relax. Then come back all pumped up Monday. I will meet you on Monday in the office hours. Okay? See you. Bye-bye.
Happy Diwali to you, sir, too.
Yeah. Happy Diwali. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.